Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. You close your eyes, you take a deep breath, you hit the space bar, and whatever happens, happens. We're going to be a back half character, maybe Zazel. You know what? Whatever happens, happens. You take the good and the bad. 3 Escape from Tarkov, 0 viewers, times 3. That's me on my Tuesday streams. Just kidding, I don't play Tarkov on my Tuesday streams anymore. I got nothing against Tarkov. I mean, if we're talking about games I played in 2019, Tarkov was probably like one of the 10 games I played most. It's not one of the 5 games I played most, I think. And I'm talking about for recreation and for YouTube. Like, let's cut Isaac out of there because it's like not even fair. But like Tetris, for sure I played more. Might have played more Gungeon. But apart from that, it's definitely like... that's a bit of a bummer, but you like the range upgrade, I guess. It's definitely, it's in the mix, you know? I think Escape from Tarkov is a very cool game. But I have lost, you know, I lost the fire for it. And I don't think losing the fire for a game is necessarily a bad thing. You know, there's certain idioms and expressions, like losing your passion for something. They have innate negative connotations because the way they're used for society is, oh, you lose your passion for your job, you lose your passion for your career, whatever. Sorry, I had a little burp there. But with video games, you know, I really kind of built a lot of my channel around this philosophy that, like, you know, it's ironic because, like, nothing's forever, and Isaac is the exception that proves the rule, you know? I've played a lot of games that you could play forever, but you just don't want to play them forever. You want to move on to something new, and I think that's healthy. I'm not even, and I would tell you if I was, by the way, I'm not even upset I missed the quote-unquote wave on Tarkov, because I think I never really, I mean, if you're not familiar with the context of that, like, maybe a month and a half ago, Tarkov had an event where they integrated Twitch into the game. So essentially, if you watched streamers play, you could get items for Escape from Tarkov in your game, which is actually, like, most of the time there's drops enabled for a game, it's cosmetic stuff. People are still, like, excited about it. I guess CSGO kind of straddles the line, because it's also, like, you know, they're worth real money, to some extent at least. I don't know how bustling the CSGO economy still is, but it might be huge for all I know. I know the game's popular, I just don't know if we're still doing that thing where, like, we drive up the price of a digital good due to speculation anymore. I don't know. Where was I going with this? But yeah, like, it's really interesting because, you know, the items that you would get from Tarkov drops are actually stuff that you kind of leverage in the future. You know, you could use them in raids and stuff like that. So, that was a really ingenious marketing strategy. And I would not be surprised to see more games do it. In fact, I would be very surprised to see no games do it in the future. I think, I don't know how you organize something like that. I don't know if it's just like a Twitch extension or something like that. Or if they actually got, like, you know, the blessing and impetus from Twitch itself. But I'm literally just ignorant of the situation. But it's like a really, really smart in-game promotion, or promotion for your game, I should say. But I'm not really upset I missed the wave, to be honest. Because I've never really been a Tarkov streamer to begin with, you know? To have drops would have been cool, but I still... You know, I would have played for like an hour here or there. It's not a desire I wish to capitalize upon. Let's put it that way. You know what I do want to capitalize upon? Getting into this room. Buying one of these so I feel better about our deal with the devil. Setup. Probably buying restock because we get an item out of it to begin with. You like to see it, actually. And everything's kind of snowballing here, which you do not, well, that didn't help, but you do not need the snowball for an Azazel run, but I'll take it nonetheless. Here's some spice for you. Why do this? Hold on, I gotta think. The reason I'm doing this... Look, Humbling Bundle is probably the smart money play. Pandora's Box, though, it's kind of a fun one. You know what I mean? I think it's a more interesting play than just taking the easy money on this one. Instead, we get a little bit of an extra dice roll thrown in. It could be fun. Love to see that. I don't think we have taken enough damage to possibly kill ourselves on one deal with the devil, but I'll still be hesitant because it's in many ways for me, I'm like, it's just not worth the risk. This is huge, actually. I think the death card will be really nice here. Took out one that was already pretty wounded. Why get so close? You don't have to get that close. This will be another spirit heart for deal with the devil purposes. Oh, well, we didn't have to worry about it at all. Anyway, I just think it's more interesting this way. Luck up. Do this very solid start. And what are we losing out on? Yum Heart, aka it doesn't matter at all. So I do think we'll pop this down right away, and I'm happy to have the damage upgrade. Why was I talking about Escape from Tarkov? I don't remember at all. Oh, because of EFT in the seed. Wow, it's so easy. FK in the coffee. Anyway, I like that game. Sometimes people, I don't want to say they get mad, but, you know, you have to set expectations very well, because if you play something on YouTube and you become, not even the guy for something, but maybe for each individual person, each individual viewer, you can become their guy for this game, you know? Like, I'm probably a lot of people's guys for Isaac, but, you know, I'm not the Isaac guy. I'm flattered when people call me the Isaac guy. I'm not offended, but sometimes I am a little embarrassed, because I'm like, man, there are other Isaac guys. Now, legitimately, at least in English, I might be the biggest. I'm not trying to be, you know, demure about it or anything like that, but, you know, you got a lot of content creators that are, you know, making a crap ton of Isaac content and crushing it. It's not just me. There's dozens of us. But, you know, sometimes, even I had to be careful with Hades, because I was like, hey, I'm not going to be playing Hades for a bit, because, you know, I think all the runs for me have kind of gotten to the point where they're largely the same, or very similar, but I'll return after, you know, a few updates. I have gotten a lot of tweets from people that are like, hey, now that one update is out, are you going to come back to it? Or rather, now that one update is out, when are you going to come back to it? And I'm like, it'll happen. Rest assured it'll happen, but I'm just letting it simmer a little longer. Please tell me. No. I thought we had luck upgrades coming our way. It's okay. Still in a very, very good spot. Anyway, I don't know, what was I talking about? Nothing so far, just Escape from Tarkov. I like Escape from Tarkov. I'll tell you, I think I'm not a biz dev guy at all. So I don't want to say something like, oh, you know what the industry lacks right now is a game like blah. But I think the main strength for me in Escape from Tarkov is twofold. The main strength is twofold. One is that it combines, like, actually great shooter mechanics, in my opinion, with what I would almost describe as like an incremental game, you know? Like you go out on a mission with trash, you run around like a rat and pick up like some loot that's slightly better than what you're using, you bring it back to your compound, and then all of a sudden you're better equipped for your next raid. Yeah, if you go out on a super stacked raid and die easily or too early, you know, it can all go up in smoke. But I think it has kind of that element of like an incremental game. The second thing is, I like first-person shooters, believe it or not. Oh, absolutely, this is what we want. What I don't like is losing in first-person shooters. And in a battle royale, you lose all the time. Unless you're very, very good. I mean, you're always going to lose more often than you win, for sure. But, you know, your well, we should have done that differently. But your threshold is slightly different, but you know, the principle remains. So, Tarkov, I thought was cool in the sense that, and this is a great setup for us right here, but Tarkov is cool in that, you know, there's some AI, and there's some players. So you get a little bit of, like, sometimes you're cannon fodder and sometimes you're cannon fed. I like that. It seems like there's only, like, the main first-person shooter demographics are like this, as far as I can tell. There's, PUBG, Fortnite. I mean, it's not a first-person shooter, but you get the idea. There's battle royales, right? Then there's, like, fully single-player games, like Doom, which also doesn't really interest me, to be honest. And I've heard many amazing things about Doom 2016. And Doom Eternal is... Shouldn't have done that. Sinvicta and I were just talking about that today, about how if you were trying to build a bot that played Isaac perfectly, you would never take question marks out of red chests. And yet, here I am. Oh, can't get in there. Oh, that's right, because we have too much HP. My mistake. Brain's a little twisted up here. So, like, the single-player first-person shooter just doesn't interest me that much, to be honest. It's just not my cup of tea. And then, like, a huge gap in the middle, where there's, like, okay, yeah, like Halo Reach. That was a really fun remaster when that came out. I got a decent amount of mileage out of that one. And then there's, like, you know, Borderlands. I was like, honestly, I like the formula, but I don't like... The writing is enough, and I'm not saying it's a bad game, but the writing in that game makes me not want to play it. It's probably the reason a lot of people do play it, but not I. As someone who doesn't really care about story, Tarkov succeeds as a mechanics-driven shooter experience where I don't just get bodied non-stop by, you know... To be honest, I was gonna say people with more free time than me, but that's not even fair. Let's just call it like it is. You know, people that are better than me. And there's a lot of them. Ooh, you love to see it. I gotta be honest, this is a pretty steady day for me. Just about every game I've played today, everything's kind of worked out. Very nice, you know, pleasant January for me. Played January 24th. Sorry, I had to look up the day. The only thing that went wrong, you know, I had to go downtown. I know I said our move was over. It is, but we did get a... We got a bill from our old cable company that was like, hey, unless you want to pay us like $50, you got to go return this modem. And I was like, okay, we have the modem. I forgot about it. It just honestly slipped our mind. So I went downtown to return that. And then I went to my favorite sandwich place in the city. It's called Meat and Bread. There's a few locations now. And we don't want to trinket smelt this one, though. Just be careful. I love their porchetta sandwich. I said I'll take one special for my wife, and I'll take a porchetta sandwich for myself. And then the guy said, we're out of porchetta. That was the only even slightly negative thing that happened to me. And I said, you know what? I'll take your buffalo chicken sandwich then. I ate the buffalo chicken sandwich. It was delicious. Was it as delicious as the porchetta? I would say no. But that's okay. It was still... I choose to think, what a delicious sandwich, instead of thinking... Man, the porchetta was better than this. That's what happens when you go to a busy lunch spot in, like, the business district, and you go at 1:30 p.m. All the top choice stuff is already, it's going to be taken by the hustlers they've been there since 8:30 a.m. I did go to the item room, right? I got Blue Baby's only friend. This is a very, very good run so far. This run is not fathomable to lose. So we're going to keep it going. Man, I was talking to Sinvicta for GeoGuessr today. I am stunned that Sinvicta has a 680 episode streak of victories in Isaac. I think at first it's the kind of number that makes you incredulous, right? You're like, that's impossible. But oh, right, that makes sense. I was thinking about it, and I was like, I want it to be clear, this is not me being like, I could do that, I just don't want to. Not only is he a markedly better Isaac player than I am, but he knows more about the game. Like, whenever we talk about Isaac, he knows, like, you know, the effects that this has with this, not just in a broad sense, because I know it in a broad sense, but he knows, like, you know, down to the letter what it does. So he's a much better and more dedicated player, to be honest. More book smart about it as well. But I was thinking, and I was like, you know what? I bet if I eliminated all of my bad Isaac habits, I'm not saying I could hit 600, but I'm thinking we could get up there. Like, we're on 23. Now, mind you, his streak's been going for like 2 years, which is just hilarious to me. But, you know, we're not even like close to being there. So I don't think we want Trinket Smelter anymore. I think we've smelted enough and we're ready to go. But I'm like, if I started never taking pills, and not, he's doing Eden instead of random. Now I've done Eden streaks as well that have been, you know, I got bodied on them, but, and never taking question marks like under any circumstances, and never ever allowing myself to get like a little bit too low on HP to hopefully leverage for benefits in the future. I think if I changed my playstyle to implement stuff like that, I would be I would think that number is a lot less. I don't want to say impressive because it's insanely impressive, but I would think that number is within the level of slightly being more attainable than it is right now. This is not to say, you know, again, I want to be clear. Different people play the games in different fashions. It's not my intention to be like, oh, I could play it like Invicta, I just don't want to. I was just like, if anything, it was a buttress on my own self-confidence. I said to myself, you know, like, man, I haven't had a streak over 50 in like 2 years or something, and then you got a streak of 600. Like, what's the difference between you and I? And I'm like, oh, you love to see it right there. I was like, oh, it's pretty simple. I think Sinvicta plays to win, and I want to win, but sometimes I get distracted, and I start to do things that are not wise on a fundamental level. And honestly, I think that leads us to having more fun for me personally. It's more fun for me to go a little wild. And sometimes you get a situation like this where you just become Guppy within 4 rooms on a single floor. Oh my god, it's the rare Super Guppy. So now we will drop the left hand, and I mean, this is dominant. You really do love to see it. Or maybe you're watching and you're like, I hate to see it because it's an Azazel run and now you're also Guppy. In which case, I completely understand where you're coming from as well. Let's see what this pill is in a second here. Beautiful. Let's take the gift and walk outside and use it. Dude, that's absolutely okay. Counterfeit penny, very nice actually. And I think we will just roll this and then walk out. We're one greed fight away from basically being able to get infinite items, so I think I will look for a secret room. Oh my god. Oh, you son of a gun. If we had just gotten another Steam sale. But still, this is very nice. I just don't really want a blank card for this run. Instead, I would like to purchase a speed down pill. Much better use of our resources. You know what? You might as well try this. You know what? I'm an idiot. We shouldn't have tried that. Another speed down pill. Very nice. Anyway, this is it. It's still very, 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 very good. Anyway. Get me out of here. It's a Friday. I'm excited. Lots of, you know, I feel like there's a buzz in the air right now. I released my channel update yesterday. And I didn't expect it to go anyway. I didn't expect it. It was just a channel update that basically I was like, hey, people who are interested in what I'm doing, probably interested in why I'm doing it right now. And it surprised me my channel update was like more viewed than any other video that I've posted this week, including like it's pretty close between that and like me ranking every item in the grocery store that you could possibly purchase. I was surprised because, like, you know, one of those took some prep, it took some improv chops, and the other one was just me talking about food for an hour and a half. I mean, come on, like, you see, it's the old Reddit switcheroo. But I really, and I think it's come across, I feel excited about making content again, and I guess that's why so many people, you know, enjoyed watching the video as well. So I appreciate your kind comments on that, and, you know, I watched... Malf did a channel update where he was talking about, you know, like his thought process. You know, he's making more YouTube videos. He's continuing to do, like, all that exciting stuff with his Twitch stream as well. And I'm like, you know, it feels like there's a palpable level of excitement in the air. The roguelite pentathlon, you know, Team Unity Tuesday board game tournaments. Lots of exciting stuff happen right now. I'm telling you. If you didn't watch the channel update, I already gave like a Cliff Notes a couple Isaac episodes ago, but I really like one of the. I'll take the mind for sure. One of the key things that, like, the big takeaway is enthusiasm is infectious. You know. I saw my colleagues getting excited about doing work. I got excited about, you know, their excitement and started making my own cool stuff, I hope. And, you know, that in turn has proved infectious as well. And it's infecting the community. People are excited. No, I keep saying it, but it's a good time. The last, like, 6 weeks have been, like, some of the most fun I've had on YouTube for sure. So thank you for that. And you're saying, no, thank you. And I'm saying, oh, yes, like me for sure, thank you as well. I mean, I did put in the work. But, you know, we both deserve a certain amount of credit, you know? When was the last time we did Boss Rush? I'm going to say that it was, like, before November 2019. I was thinking about that too. Like, the fact that we're in 2020 feels very blasé to say, like, oh, it's crazy that we're in 2020. But, you know, I've been doing this job for like 8 years or so, somewhere in there. And there are like whole years of my professional life where I feel like I have like 10 memories. And I'm not saying it's like a memory loss situation, but I'm like, man, I remember 2014. I remember lots of like milestones and signposts. You know, 2014 was the year that Rebirth came out. It was a very exciting time, for sure, for me, and probably for a lot of you if you're watching this as well. Oh, we should have taken that. The December 2014 was when The Interview came out. I remember all that controversy, you know, the Seth Rogen, James Franco movie. It's weird the things you remember. What won Best Picture in 2014? Could not tell you. Couldn't tell you. What was one of the most noteworthy movies? Oh, the very middling to bad Seth Rogen vehicle, The Interview, with all the cyber terrorism surrounding it. But I was like, man, I remember like so little of 2018. Like, if you ask me what are the defining moments of 2018 for me, I honestly could not tell you. I know that there was cool stuff that happened because I was there. I might have even made them. But I couldn't tell you what they are. Like, just from an aggregate situation, I'd have to look back and be like, oh, you know, like, oh, the For Honor tournament is shame. That was really cool. And then, you know, you get the idea. I wonder what... It's way too early to say that about 2019. Because, like, 2019, right now, I can recall it oh so clearly, you know? January, we're playing Subnautica on the Twitch channel, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I should really mix up my channel with some more variety. Started doing that Civilization campaign, Streets of Rogue, Enter the Gungeon. 2019, I started working out. You know, I got good memories about working out. We moved. You know, there's all sorts of, like, big stuff that happened last year. But there was probably all sorts of big stuff that happened in 2018, too. I just barely recall it. Because I haven't thought about it in a while. So I'm still, you know, it's weird. Like, when you live... You kind of, like, live a year 2 different ways. You know what I mean? Like, the first time, you live the year in real time. You know, in the present. And then you experience it for the rest of your life through memory. Some of the years that were the like the most eventful of my life at the time probably have led to not the most eventful in memory for whatever reason, and vice versa. I'm sure there's years where I was like, man, like I'll tell you, 2010 is like a really significant year for me, and at the time I was mostly just, you know, using my laptop to browse the internet. Wasn't really doing much at all on the regular, but, you know, 2010 I graduated from university, and, you know, it's the year I decided I was going to go to teach in Korea for a year, and it included part of that teaching, and, you know, some of the early YouTube videos came out during that period. So in hindsight, 2010 is like, whoa, that was like a big year. In foresight, or like at the time, I was like, man, I don't know, what are you doing? Just a little bored, making some YouTube videos. You don't know it till it's over, you know? And this is not a negative thing. I'm being wistful, if anything. We'll take that for sure. I think we don't want to take anything else. We'll try this. You love to see the range upgrade. The rate of fire downgrade is not that bad, to be honest. Anyway, just interesting to me. And like I'll tell you, 2015, I have some memory of being like really busy, and it might surprise you, but like being stressed out. And it's a very strange thing to say, but like, you know, I have had periods of stress doing this job that when I look back, I'm like, man, it's a naive form of stress to some extent, where I'm like, I gotta get 6 Isaac videos done today. Why? Because I need to post an Isaac video a day. Yeah, but you got like 10 in reserve. Yeah, but what if I get sick in the next, you know, like 2 weeks? I need to make sure I got it. Like, you're just working yourself to the bone for not no reason, but like you shouldn't be at the point where you're getting stressed out about it, obviously. So I was like doing a lot in 2015, and yet it's not like the year is erased from my memory. It's just like, if you ask me what happened in 2015, I'm like, brother, I don't know. I think that feels to me like the year Kate and I took our first trip to Japan. That's where I'm at, which is a great memory. But if you're like I've talked about this before, I'm kind of ranting, but we're also closing in on the end here. Plus I did Boss Rush, so no one could possibly accuse me of just trying to send this one to the glue factory as soon as possible. When I was a kid, you know what I think it is here? Let me hit you with my actual thesis. I think the less you have going on in your life, the better your memory is. And I've said similar things in the past, to be honest. But like as a kid, I, you know, stayed inside and read all the time, which I think is awesome. And if you asked me, you know, hey, what year did Waterfalls by TLC come out? I would hit you with the right answer. It's because, you know, I had time to sort that stuff, put it into the long-term memory banks. Now that I have duties to perform every day and have much more limited free time, I think it's like the years don't have a chance to actually make up that same sense of identity. Because I'm not looking out the window watching the time pass by, I'm driving the car. I was thinking about it because I remember, like, so in 2000 and, I guess it would have been like March of 2006. Or no, it was probably earlier than that. It was probably in 2005. I was like, my dad was driving me around to like tour colleges. And I remember being in the back seat being driven around by my parents. And I've talked about this moment once or twice before. And I was listening on my, like, creative... It wasn't a Zune. I forget. A Creative Zen jukebox, you know? I was listening to Wilco's Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. And I was having, like, a meditative moment where I was like, man, I'm not going to have too many more moments like this in my life where, you know, like... Me and my parents are out here, like, on a road trip determining, like, the next direction that I'm going to take in my life. Like, after this, it's, like, just me. And it was kind of like a moment of revelation and simultaneously, like, anxiety. But also, like, hey, this is good. This is the next step. And I'm thinking about it now. And I'm like, you know what my dad was probably thinking about in that moment? Okay, keep your speed at a reasonable level. Maintain distance to the car in front of you. Oh, this guy behind us, he's very aggressive. Let's get over, let him pass. You know, this is when you're the steward in charge of where the vehicle is headed, you do have a little bit less time for introspection, I think, and cataloging moments like that. And it takes a little of both, you know? Without the person driving the car, I wouldn't have toured the colleges. But without the storyteller to tell that moment of sensitivity, I wouldn't have been able to bring that moment to you guys either. So, I don't know. That's me very ham-fistedly trying to put a moral on probably one of the easiest Isaac episodes we've had in, like, the past week. But hey, there we are. How touching. For now, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal as we hit 23 wins in a row. If you enjoyed it, me too. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya!